Today I want to talk about my opinion of the current state of DJing, using Google, and playing music that you don't want to play just to get a gig. This is Share the Knowledge.
For the last 22 years, I've been rocking stages, playing in clubs, and having a lot of fun as a DJ and turntablist, and I've seen and learned a lot. Now it's time for me to share that knowledge by answering the questions that can help you become a better DJ. I'm djTLM, and this is Share the Knowledge.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to episode 8 of Share the Knowledge. I'm djTLM, and you're watching djTLMtv on YouTube or Facebook, or you tuned into the podcast on SoundCloud or iTunes. And this is the show where I answer questions that you guys can ask me on Twitter and Instagram at djTLM. Just add the hashtag Share the Knowledge, and I can find your question, and maybe I'll answer it right here. Now I'm going to go straight into the questions because episode 7, the last episode, was a little bit too long. Now, if you like the long shows, let me know in the comment section down below. Anything you want to share, let us know in the comment section down below. And all the info that I'm talking about, all the links are going to be in the description box down below. Same goes for the timestamp, so you can go straight to every question. Just follow the links in the description down below. First question. Now this question is from DJ Diamond 1. I want to know what you think of the DJs of today. I see most DJs nowadays carrying TVs and doing light shows. Back in the days, I used to carry milk crates. I've been DJing for a while now, and the game has changed a lot. Not what it used to be. I want to know what you really think. What I really think is you're absolutely right that things are not the same, and that is a reality check for you maybe, but things never stay the same. Things always change. Now, is change always good? That's debatable. Probably not. And what I'm most disappointed about, if I have to compare, is the fact that skills have become less valuable. So if we're talking about music right now, just sticking to music, I love hip hop music. And the way we used to judge an MC, a rapper, was skills. You would look at his performance, content, lyricism, flow. It was all about the skills. Now, in the last 10 whatever years, you've seen a decline. Skills became less important, and it became more about swag and the appearance and the whole story around the rapper, fabricated or not. But that's a totally different way to look at an artist, because the crowd or the audience nowadays also judges that MC in that perspective. They're not looking at skills. They don't value skills the same way we did. And what they contribute to being good is something totally different. So you need to accept that things change and adapt to it. Otherwise, you're going to be the bitter old dude who's talking about everything used to be better. And you have to imagine when we were young, that's what the old folks were saying then, that, oh, this hip hop stuff, that's horrible. Back in the days, we used to listen to real music. It's always going to be like that. Now, that's rappers. When it comes to DJs, it's the same situation, I have to say. Skills are less important because a lot of people used to go to parties for a specific DJ because they liked the way he played. And it became more about, especially the big DJs, it became about the music that they're releasing, sometimes producing, but the music they're releasing, and not as much about the skills. And when it comes to even the smaller parties over here, it became more about the concept of the party and less about the DJs, because a lot of DJs are generic and play exactly the same thing. So it became less about the DJs. And I've seen a lot of promo for parties where they're actually not even promoting the DJ's name. It's just about bang, the party and the name of the party, and not about come check this and that DJ out. So it's not as much about skills as it used to be. Now, I'm not saying it's always like that. Same with rappers. You see the emergence of Kendrick Lamar and a J. Cole, guys like that, guys with actual talent and skills, and they're selling a lot of records. So it's still definitely possible. But overall, the skills, if you compare side by side artists from like 10 years ago and now, there's going to be difference in skills. And DJs from back in the days were more focused on skills than it is now. It's just different. That doesn't mean that you have to stop caring about skills, but it's just a different era. People consume music in a different way, so things change. It's always going to be like that. Just a quick example. Right here in the back, I have a gold plaque. Now, I didn't put it there to stun on you guys. Shout out to Brainpower. This is a gold plaque that I received for a song that I worked on, one of Brainpower's songs. I had a special scratch solo in that song. And this was handed to me after it sold 40,000 copies of the single. It went on to sell more after that, but this is from a time when you would receive plaques if you sold a certain amount of singles or albums. Now, they had to really change that because music is being consumed in a different way now, and now you see that artists are receiving plaques not for selling songs, but even more for their YouTube streams and Spotify streams. Now, they still have to figure out the formula over here because it's not really working the way it should be. I see a lot of young artists that are going gold every week because they have like 1 million views, and it doesn't really compare to a real sale though. So they have to work it out, but I understand that they're doing that. I'm definitely very proud of this because this comes from an era where people actually had to make that conscious decision to go to a store, spend money, and buy your product. And yeah, I love that. But it's not the same now, and you have to accept that, adapt to it, move on. So I hope that gives you a little insight into how I feel about it, but I'm definitely not gonna be one of the bitter dudes saying everything used to be better. The grass is always greener on that other side, but we're living here right now. That's what we have to deal with. Then I have a question from Trident, and it's a two-part question. The first one is, I'm not a night person. I'm what you would call a socially awkward person, and I would like to switch to being a night person so that I can get used to DJing late nights. Second one is, I want to be able to DJ and make the crowd hype, but I don't want them to judge me by the way I look. So should I wear a mask? All right, now, first of all, I don't feel that you have to turn into a night person just to become a DJ. Yes, if you're DJing, most of the times this will be the late hours, this will be at night, but I know plenty of guys who have normal, quote unquote, normal day jobs from Monday to Friday. They work office hours, and in the weekend, they DJ. So that means that during the week, they have a normal schedule. They wake up early in the morning, they come home from work at 6 or 7, they eat, and they probably go to bed at 10, and in the weekend, it's a different story. So they're not night people. In my case, it's a little bit different because I'm definitely a night person. I was for years. I slept for like 3-4 hours a night for years. That's not good though, but that's what it was. If I wasn't DJing, I was out partying. If I wasn't out partying, I was in front of clubs, flyering for our own events. So I was always up until late, or early in the morning, should I say. And then I would sleep during the day. Now, I had to switch that around because I have kids now. So my schedule now during the weeks is that I get up at 6:15 a.m. in the morning and I have a full day trying to put some work in between all the kids stuff that I have to do, and the rest of my work I have to do when they go to bed, and sometimes I still go to bed at 2 a.m. and I have to wake up at 6:15 again, but that's just what it is. But during the weekends, I have to switch and go into night mode. But it works for me. So you don't have to become a full-time night person in order to DJ. Keep that in mind. Now, the second part of the question is pretty deep. I have never seen you, and I don't need to see you for me to tell you from the bottom of my heart, there is no reason that you should wear a mask when you go out to DJ unless you want to make a gimmick where you're always wearing a mask. Look at like a Dead Mouse with the mouse thing on, or Daft Punk with the helmets. But you do not have to wear a mask just to hide your face because you're afraid people will judge you. The only thing they're gonna judge you for is the music that's coming out of the speakers. And the reason why I'm saying this, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of people out there marketing with their looks, because there definitely are in all businesses. But if you look at a lot of successful DJs, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, don't get me wrong. But if you look at a lot of the successful DJs, there's a lot of guys in there that would not be considered the most handsome people. Not saying that they're ugly, but yeah. If they were walking down the street, you probably even wouldn't give them the time of day. Like, they don't stand out. Not in a disrespectful way, but they don't stand out. they look like the most regular Joe on the planet, or they even look a little bit different. But it does not matter because they still became these EDM superstars. So you should not be worried about that. I've seen a lot of DJs, and I have never seen DJs that were being judged by the crowd because of the way they look. So if there's anyone out there who has a different experience with that, please let us know in the comment section down below. Share that knowledge, because I love to hear stories like that, because we don't all know what will happen to everyone else. Okay, on a different note, I have a question from Steven. He's 15 years old. I own the DDJ SZ. I recently got a Newmark turntable. Basically, the problem is the turntable has no needle. Where can I be able to find one of the cheapest needles, something good enough just for Serato to recognize? The reason I'm adding this question, and this is not to knock Steven, and I already replied to Steven and gave him some advice, so let that be known. But I'm running into this a lot, and to me, it's a problem. We're living in this digital era where the internet is probably the most important thing in a lot of people's lives. They use it all the time, every day. But still, somehow it seems like a lot of people are underestimating or not taking advantage of the internet when they all have it. Now, a lot of these questions could be answered really simply just by going to Google or any search engine and typing in a couple of words, and they will most likely give you the results you're looking for. So if you have a turntable and you're looking for a needle for a turntable, you can just type that in. You type in needle turntable, or you type in best needle turntable, or budget needle turntable. Anything. Little bit of typing and you get a lot of results, and you can do your own research. Because a lot of times with these questions, if I receive a question like this, of course, I know something about needles. I know the needles I'm using. I already know that those are not the cheapest ones. So if I want to answer this question, I have to go to a search engine and do the same things that I'm telling you to do right now. And it's not just about needles. I get this with a lot of stuff, like how big is that controller? Or how much could that computer cost? Or where could I find this? Where could I find that? Guys, you all have access to the same information that you're asking me, because for most of those questions, it would require for me to do the same thing I'm telling you to do. So that's just my little message to you out there. If you have questions, just keep in mind that a lot of the answers are right there in front of you on that computer or on your phone. So please try to take advantage of that instead of sending me all those questions, because these are not questions that I'm normally going to answer on the show. And I get a lot of these questions and I don't have time to just reply to each and every person with that info. I'm not going to do that. So keep that in mind and spread the word. Make sure people know. Come on. So my last question of the day comes from I don't know. I cut that off again. That happens sometimes. My question is regarding to gigs and genres. I'm a startup techno DJ based in a relatively small city in the UK, and therefore there aren't many gigs in the first place. Even if there are, most of them are popular chart music and or house/deep house music, which I appreciate people enjoying out there, but those are the genres I'm not entirely enthusiastic about. This means that the sort of music I work with has very little demand, and hence I do not see myself playing in front of crowds that often. Do I push myself to listen to and play chart music, or do I just wait out for the kind of gigs that appreciate my genre of music? It's really frustrating to not be able to play, and at the same time, if as a DJ you can't enjoy the music you're playing, I highly doubt the crowd can either. What's your take on this? You are absolutely right. If you do not enjoy what you're playing, first of all, you're not going to be happy, but chances are that you're going to radiate that low energy and the crowd is not really going to feel it. Plus, if you're not feeling the music you're playing, you're probably not going to be that knowledgeable about it and not know which tracks to play. Here's the thing. You should definitely not wait for gigs to come along. Never wait for gigs to come along, because you'll be waiting and waiting and waiting, and you probably have no gigs. Now, I would never say that you should start playing other genres of music if you're not interested in those genres. But if you really want to play in your local area and they play different styles and you could be open to try those styles, then you can always try it out. But like you said, if you're not enthusiastic about those genres, then that's probably just not for you. I don't like every genre of music, and I'm definitely not going to just play a certain genre that I'm not that interested in just because it means that I can get a gig. That's not why I started to do this. This is different for everyone. You have people out there that just don't care. They'll play anything as long as they get to play. That's fine by me. Let them take those gigs. But if it's not in your area and you really want to do this, then you have to really consider to spend that extra time, energy, and money to do more traveling and go to other places to find those gigs. Find out online where they're playing the music that you like to play and try to apply either online or just by going there. Finding those DJs that play the same type of music, network, you got to get out there. If it's not in your area, you got to go find out where it is, but never sit around and wait for it. And if you're living in that area, they don't have the parties where they play your type of music. Do you at least know if there's an audience for that type of music? If you know that there's enough people to have a party with that music, I'm going to say it again, you have to organize your own event. Find the people that like that music, find a small spot where you can organize something and organize that party so you can play your music in front of people that like that music, and you're all going to have a great time, and it might even lead to more. So that's my advice. Stick to what you want to play, and if that's everything, then it's everything. If it's not everything, then you play the genres you like, because you have to love what you're doing. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree, guys, but that's definitely my opinion. And go look for it. Don't sit and wait for it. Now, that's going to be my question of the day for all my DJs out there watching. Do you play the genres that you like to play, or do you also play genres you don't like just because it can get you gigs? So do you play music that you don't like because it's necessary to get those gigs? That's the question of the day. Join the conversation in the comment section down below. Share that knowledge so we can all talk about it, so we can all learn. I'm learning a lot from you guys, man, because it's different all over the world. And I'm just telling you from my personal experience, but I am a DJ in one part of the world, and it's different in every country, city, continent. So it's great to hear your stories. So that's it for episode 8. I hope you enjoyed this info. If you did, make sure you like the video, share the knowledge. And if you have questions for future episodes, go to Twitter, Instagram, at djTLM, add that hashtag, share the knowledge, or check me out on Snapchat, djTLM. You can also send me questions there. And I will be back very soon. Peace.